My story is different from most because I had undergone a bone marrow transplant when I was just 6 months old. Now I have pulmonary fibrosis, which is a result lung disease, and my lung capacity is now only 20%. My name is Asa Corhandry, and I am 17 years old. And today I would like to talk about what really matters most to me in life. Now, life can be tough when every single breath you take is a struggle, and the slightest infection causes a serious life-threatening exacerbation. And the last one for me was in November last year, when I went from being able to work roughly and go to school to suddenly being bedridden, unable to turn over in bed without getting out of breath. And I must confess that I did wonder if I was going to die. And I would have sleepless nights just thinking, tossing and turning with this idea that soon I may be gone, and if that is going to happen, then what's the point of anything? I think about this for hours and get nowhere. But then it suddenly struck me that I am not really alone in all of this. Is it not true that not for me but all of us are going to die one day? Yes, all of us are going to die. I like you on to just think about that for a moment. In the next 100 years, all of us sitting in this room today will be gone. Just at different times, some sooner than the others. So then, if that's a the ultimate truth, what should really matter most in life? The only thing that matters to me is being happy. And happiness is a choice one makes. It's simply an attitude. I can either choose to be happy and try to smile through all of my difficult times, or I can choose to be miserable and get overwhelmed by its own. Now it's not that by being miserable that I am going to get any better, so I may as well choose to be happy. And if I have to have pulmonary fibrosis, now I would like to share with you a few difficult moments in the recent past where I have chosen to be happy. This year I was quite unwell and I had to undergo several medical tests. And one such test was a sleep study done to check if my oxygen levels were okay when I sleep. And this picture was taken right before the study. And you can see that I am almost trapped in a bunch of wires, some stuck to my face and some to my body, to monitor my heart, my range, and my breathing. Despite this, I'm still smiling because I refuse to let this illness get the better of me. I just won't let it. And I chose to find humor in observing the man who was doing my sleep study. I couldn't help but laugh at the way he could just put his own feet on mine and go up to sleep himself, snoring away. And this obviously made it difficult for me to sleep. And maybe that's why my result was so bad. How ridiculous, I thought to myself. Later that month, my family and I had gone to England for a full medical checkup. And the days were filled with long, boring medical appointments, taking about lung transplant and what seemed like endless amounts of tests. This is a picture of my brothers and I just after I had spent one long day at the hospital. But guess where we were headed in the photo to see a Broadway show in London. And it was fabulous. I was able to put the trauma of the day at the hospital behind me. And I still managed to fight the will and the excitement in going out for a plate and spending quality time with my brother. I believe that it's important to create many happy memories so that we can try to wear out the sad ones. After having quite an unpleasant summer with all of these medical issues, my family and I decided to take a holiday to the Maldives, and there was so much to do in the Maldives. But of course, my health doesn't permit me to do a lot of the things that I wanted to, and one of the main activities was snorkeling, and I desperately I wanted to try it. But how could a person who has difficult breathing go snorkeling? Well, in this picture, you can see me in my snorkeling gear, right after I had popped. I feel extreme happiness and was even surprised at myself for doing something that everyone wasn't sure was really possible. So happiness is clearly a choice one can make. No matter what, no matter where, you can find it if you look for it. In fact, Tom Wilson once said, "A smile is happiness you can find right under your nose." I feel that happiness is also doing what you truly love. And for me, my love is for art, simply because it allows me to express myself in such a beautiful and unique way. As I dip my brush in the vibrant colors of paint, and I can almost feel the paint being smeared onto the fabric of this canvas, I tend to forget all of my worries and difficult situations that I'm really in. And art makes me happy because it almost becomes a whole other world where I can escape a less for a little while. And this day my heart's favorite subject to paint is dogs. And now I would like to introduce you to my own two dogs. Copy the black raider and crawler. You can see who the dominant one is in the relationship. I find it so interesting that even though they can't speak a word, dog can become the closest thing to your heart. Very best friend and your companion. I love to observe them and try to figure them out. I can't help but get inspired. Dogs are so similar to humans, yet they carry qualities that we humans struggle to achieve at times. Dogs can find happiness in the small little things. Dogs are delighted with their work, ecstatic with a small treat, and in having when you tickle their belly. Now I would like to share with you a few paintings I have done recently that were inspired by these two guys. The first one is of Kobe and is capturing a snapshot of my everyday life. Just lying on my bed and watching movies, just as I like to do. The next one is inspired by Georgia Sport Roller and the legendary rock band Guns N' Roses. And now all of this doesn't mean that life is always one big song and dance. It really isn't. Of course, there are days when I feel extremely down, when I feel like simply curling up into a ball and just giving up. But then the realization that things could always be much, much worse always pushes me to get back up on my feet and puts a smile on my face. I could have easily been born into a family that wasn't as loving and caring as my own. So I thank God for the family that I have. And I know for a fact that there are children out there whose grow much less, and although I have this disease, I am still grateful that I can work around and do what I love to do. So happiness is an attitude. Happiness is doing what you truly love and feel. I feel that happiness can only come from acceptance. I accept who am I accept where I am at. And I accept the challenges that I am battling with today. And I am even more determined to make the most of this wonderful gift of life that God has given me.